Hello, welcome to Get Connected with Julie Bartkus and my friend.
Michael Tassner. Hey, good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, it's good to be here again. We're at our new time, 1 o'clock on Wednesdays. So we hope you'll mark this on your calendar and join us every Wednesdays as we look forward to seeing you and really helping you navigate to accelerate your childcare business success and your success in your life.
Definitely. Got to have the balance.
Yeah. And for the past several weeks, we've been going live 2 times a week. So you'll find lots of replays of the show, probably on both of our pages, in Childcare Business Success, as well as on Michael's page, which is
Local Childcare Marketing.
Yeah. And go and tune in because there's a lot of golden nuggets that we've been giving out on different topics. And today, what are we going to talk about, Michael?
I think we're going to talk about some staffing stuff. I know a lot of centers have been asking you and I just how to, again, attract the right staff. I mean, with all these shortages, with unemployment and just all of that it's kind of the whole cart before the horse, where a lot of the centers, they're ready to kind of pull the reins back and just really start to see that progress of enrollments and kind of get that influx back. But then they're saying on the other hand, well, I don't have enough people in our hiring pool. And that's obviously been a challenge. If you don't have enough staff, you can't hit your ratios. And then it really becomes even harder to expand. So,
well, and the problem with staff, it's a huge, and it's a mindset thing too, because if we feel like we can't find the right staff or can't attract the right staff, we also feel like, well, how in the world am I ever going to grow? Because I don't have enough people to do just the bare minimum of what we need to get done. And, we know that entrepreneurs, you're in this business not to be chained to another job or to create a nice hobby for yourself, but to really make a serious business out of what you've created, and it becomes like a lot of people's babies.
Well, and I've been having a lot more, I guess, in-depth conversations than I really have had before. And then I think when I say in-depth, it's more, a lot of times I'll talk about surface level. So like I'll go right down to, tell me about your enrollments. Let's look at revenue. And those are all kind of, they're vanity and they're very important metrics, but I've been kind of going a layer deeper just with everything going on of how is this affecting your life? What do we need to do to get it to where you're actually paying yourself a salary? And right. I know, again, you've used the word dreamy in almost every show. And like, how do you actually build that center around your lifestyle? And I know we talked on the last episode of kind of the different types of centers. So you have, the center that is kind of at home, and your aspirations could be to kind of continue to do that, to be able to kind of add food to the table, so to speak, or figuratively speaking. Maybe your goal is to grow from a home-based center into a physical location outside of your house. Same thing with if you're a one location, either you want to get that one location full, or you might have aspirations to open up. I talked to a center this morning and she's got 2 locations. And normally I'd have a surface level conversation of, okay, great. What's working, what's not working? Tell me about your enrollments. But once you start asking about, what does this business really mean to you? Do you want it to be your legacy? Is it a financial thing? Is it a retirement thing? And you really start to open up just a lot more, I guess, honest conversations. And I think that is going to help dictate where you're going to find those staff that you kind of gravitate yourself to and attract those right people. And same thing with the families, that if you really know kind of really what you're going after. And I think that's where, I don't know what you're seeing, but I'm feeling that there's still a lot of confusion and a lot of just second guessing themselves. We've got a center in Arizona that she's been insanely successful, and her one location was always at a wait list. And obviously with COVID, like most centers, lost some enrollments, and now it's almost not like pulling teeth to get people back in the door, but it's an uphill battle of having those conversations. So and she's kind of questioning, like, oh, can I still do this? And like, you had an insanely successful center, you've already done it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's good. I think it's really important right now that you really get clear on what it is that you want. And this has come up a lot for me this week with my coaching clients, is thinking about, well, what is it that I really want? Because, and I know I've mentioned this on many of our shows, it's like
Sure.
really getting back to that fundamental question, but it's amazing how many people don't take the time to think about what they want because they're looking at what everybody else is dictating or putting on top of them and thinking about that in terms of the possibilities of their life and their business. But what we have to do is really, really zone in to what our desires are, pull back the layers of what we've been doing for everybody else and think about what is it that I want? What do I want this to look like? And that's really a foundational piece of it that puts you back in the driver's seat of taking your program to where you want it to grow, taking your life to where you want it to grow. So that's really important. That's been coming up a lot this week.
No, definitely. So I just had someone ask. So Sarah asked,
hey, Sarah,
if you go back to the planning piece, where would you start? So I guess it's a little bit of a loaded question, but I know that Julie and I have talked a lot about just putting together the plan that kind of reflects around what you really want out of your business and your life. And when you kind of start to kind of reverse engineer that, and initially it's just getting stuff on paper so that it's actually real. I know that you've done it, Julie. I know that I love doing it. This could be a good topic also. So me making a kind of vision board, dream board of like, I love to do it physically. I haven't done that in a while. I have a virtual dream board that I look at not often enough. So it's a good reminder to go back and look at that. But I like to just get everything on paper initially. Like, what do you want? How many locations? What types of families? How much do you want to work? What is the culture like? What is your team like? Are you written up in the local media? What are they saying about you? So just getting all those things out of your head and kind of organized.
I agree. And I think one powerful strategy, especially if you're kind of like a little bit confused as to where you start with your planning, to me, it goes back to desires. And to me, one of the clearest ways to get back in touch with your desires, like what is it that you want, is to put pen to paper and to start writing. So every day I've committed for the next 90 days, I'm going to be writing a success story for 90 days, a success story. Now, it doesn't mean that it's a success story I see with my eyes, but it's a success story that I am creating in my imagination, which is one of the biggest tools that we have for creating prosperity in our lives, is to really tap in and engage our imagination. So if you even start, a 30-day journey and just say every single day, I'm going to write on a piece of paper what would feel absolutely amazing if it were to happen today. Staff showed up on time, ready to go. I enrolled 3 new families. I go to my closet and I've got beautiful clothes to wear, whatever it might be, but write that story and create it. And then you'll get closer and closer and closer and closer to a goal that is absolutely going to set your feet and set your soul on fire. Because a lot of us are trying to force a goal where it's like, okay, this is what I need to do, but we want it to be something that you want to do. Because if you could get to the place of, oh my gosh, this is really what I want, there's going to be a whole different sense of urgency in making that thing happen. So one of my strategies is to start by just creating a daily success vision where you just write out every single day everything that you think is going to come to life, everything that would be beautiful and would make you feel absolutely amazing if it were to happen. And that's a fantastic starting place.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot of the daily success habits. And I know that you have a kind of a solid morning routine between exercise and journaling and things like that. What are you doing from a journaling standpoint, or kind of, the visionary stuff? Are you doing anything there? Are you looking at your vision board for a few minutes? Are you writing down the kind of your daily success piece that you mentioned? What does that look like for you, out of curiosity?
Oh my goodness. Well, my daily routine starts right when I get up in the morning. So I'm laying there in bed and I open up my eyes. And if I start thinking about all the things I have to do and how I'm going to handle this and how I'm going to deal with this new client or this or that, I just start and I just give gratitude. I'm thankful for the trees. I'm thankful for the water I see out of my bedroom window. I'm thankful for whatever it might be. And then I move into, typically I'll do exercising. And then I also have a 90-day planner that I use that I absolutely love. It's by Freedom Mastery. They have annual planners, but the one I use is a 90-day planner. And every day this book just really inspires me. I go and I write the 3 things I'm looking forward to the most. I write the 3 things that are going to make me happy today. So it might be working out, listening to music, dancing, hugging my boyfriend, making out, whatever it might be. I write those things down. And, that just kind of gets me really excited for the day. And then I write down a goal for the day and how I'm going to reward myself if that goal or when that goal comes into fruition. And then I do a little quick nightly review too. And sometimes my nightly review rolls into my morning, but I'm celebrating what were my victories, what is it that I could do better tomorrow, and different things like that. So that's pretty much, a roll through my quick routine, but a lot of it comes from my 90-day planner that I use. And I've used different techniques before too, like recording successes in an Excel spreadsheet. But the thing that sticks to me the most is going to this planner, writing down the things I'm grateful for, the things I'm looking forward to doing, and the things that are going to make me happy for the day.
I'm looking at these planners as we're talking. These look really nice. The Freedom Mastery. I know there's a lot of different planners that a lot of different people have used. I mean, I've tried the ones from EO Fire of John Lee Dumas. He had his. I think his were the Freedom Journal. So a completely different brand, not associated with the one that you're referring to. And I've tried bullet journaling, but I've never kind of stuck with it as much as I would like. But these look easy to do and really elegant looking also.
Yeah, they're really cool. And for a while I got the annual planner, and then it just, annual planning for some reason seems very intimidating to me. So when I get and I could do a 90-day plan, I really like it. I think it's cool. I think it makes things happen pretty fast because I could go pretty fast at times. So now I get the undated 90-day planner, and I actually have a client, and I think she just switched planners. She was using the Freedom Mastery. So if you want me to get that planner for you, I think she's got the annual one. She's like, do you know anybody who might use this? So if you want it, Michael, let me know. Otherwise, maybe we'll give it away to somebody who's tuning in. But yeah, having a planner that works for you, and not judging yourself, because there's so many different ways to plan, where some people are like, oh, I've got to plan everything I do by the hour. And that's always been a challenge for me. So I do more blocks of time, different things that I want to do, and I prioritize those things. And then the things that you have to do, challenge yourself, play a game. Over my shoulder here over on this side is a timer, and I'll flip that timer over, and it's like, okay, I got 30 minutes on this timer. How much can I get done? And I try to nail down all the things that have to get done in that 30 minutes. I play a little game with myself, and then I just go to it, get it done, race against the clock. And the sooner you get things done, then that's the sooner that you could experience freedom in your time. So, challenge yourself to get what you have to get done as quickly as possible, as soon as possible, and play race against the clock to get it done, against your clock, not somebody else's.
No, I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So let's, rather than talk, this was great. I always love kind of hearing how your week's going and kind of unpack something.
You too, yeah.
Let's maybe look at kind of the hiring stuff today and kind of try and throw some nuggets and kind of have some back and forth around that. And I know that you deal with this a lot more around, just hiring great teams.
Yeah.
So would love to kind of tackle maybe one part of it. There's obviously a lot of stuff between, visualizing and kind of manifesting the right talent and attracting the right talent to, obviously the whole, recruiting process and training and onboarding and things like that. But I think obviously we've got to make sure that we're not putting the cart before the horse. So I think it makes sense to kind of just look at, maybe where you're finding these people. We can maybe talk through some of the things either in an ad, but want to try and give as much value as we can with the short amount of time that we have together.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're here tuning in and finding good staff is one of your challenges, give us oh yeah, Julie and Michael. Let us know that this is something that you're going through. And if there are specific questions, let me know too, because, I could give a lot of generalities and I could say, okay, do this, but we want to know specifically, where do you get stuck with the process? And that's the place where we could coach you from and answer some questions. So if you've got questions, if you know that you're stuck at some place with your hiring, definitely let me know. But I do see it, we're starting to do like a 5-day transformational kind of program for many owners. And that's basically where we look at the whole hiring process from attracting all the way to retaining, because I often hear leaders saying we need to find them and keep them. So we need to find them and keep them. So where do we find them and how do we keep them? And we want to tie it in because, imagine, you could churn in new staff. You could get them in and get them in and get them in and get them in. And I've had owners who excel at getting them in, but then it's keeping them that becomes really tough. So then it turns you into a place where you're always having to get staff or find staff because you're not keeping staff. So it's really a holistic view we need to have when it comes to finding the right people and retaining them, so we could stop finding them and just accelerate our success.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'll give kind of the source where we've been finding the centers that we've either been just helping in a more of an indirect way, since we definitely don't focus on helping centers hire. When I'm saying we, I'm referring to myself and my team. I know that Julie does, but we've had a lot of questions around how do we find those people, and I mean where are they located? So we have. We found that Facebook for us has just produced some really, really great results for finding talent, and just kind of putting some budgets around it, because that's a lot of times, I mean, where the people tend to be kind of casually looking, and just being able to easily submit a quick application, and they're kind of getting a good flavor of your center, especially if you've been kind of keeping your Facebook page, for example, up to date with content. And so they can kind of start to get a vibe of at least the culture that's kind of being shown to the families. Obviously not the culture of working there, but in some respects. So we've been finding great success with Facebook and being able to throw, I mean, a small budget, for example, to generate some traction. But how are you finding some other places in terms of advertising and kind of putting that out there?
Yeah. I'm going to be a little controversial here too. I'm going to tell you that it doesn't matter too much where you actually place your ad. But what does matter, and I will tell you where our clients are finding people, but I want to tell you it doesn't matter. But what really matters is what kind of ad are you putting out there, and what's the energy behind the ad that you're writing? Because we have people who come to us and they're placing ads on Facebook, they're placing ads on Indeed, they're using ZipRecruiter, which are some great places. And I believe I'm a big advocate on going into your community groups on Facebook, and you don't even have to spend anything to find good people. But if the energy behind your ad comes from a place of fear and desperation, those are the kind of candidates you're going to attract. And we see magic happen just from people rewriting their ads from the right energetic place. You can have an ad on Indeed that's not doing anything. You're not getting any candidates. You come and spend a little time with me. We rework your ads. We rewrite your ads. We put the right energy behind your ad. And all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, now the Indeed thing that wasn't generating anybody, we've got applicants coming out of our ears because we shifted the right things.
I like it. So
yeah,
I guess rather than, because I always go to tactics of tactical, and
that's what's good, and that's why we're both here, right? Because
and I think it's you've got to do both. So to your point, if your ad sounds like every other ad out there, because a lot of times, and I'll say this with all due respect, but I mean a lot of times you're not able to pay the best of wages. And usually and a lot of times, I mean, they could go work at a fast food place and make more money.
Yeah.
So that's not always the case, but I mean, a lot of times. So you've got to make sure that you're leveraging, it's not just the benefits, obviously, to your point of the content and the energy in the ad, but the atmosphere that they're going to have, the kind of personal fulfillment they're going to feel, and being able to kind of change and influence young minds. And to your point, I mean, if you don't have that, it doesn't matter if you're throwing a few $100s in Facebook and Indeed and Craigslist and ZipRecruiter and LinkedIn and all those different places.
Yeah. And I've seen people even use Facebook to the point where it's like, we are desperate and our center won't be able to open tomorrow unless we have a staff member in place. So please spread this around and let people know. So to me, that just preaches or breeds such a message of desperation. And it's like, oh my goodness. And I can understand it, but there's another way that works very fast to get you the results that you want. And if we look at the ads, and I'll say this, you could send hate mail. I'll give you the address in a little bit. But I wanted to do a segment or a video series once on do your help wanted ads suck? Because a lot of times we take our help wanted ads that were written in 19 who knows whenever, and we pull those out and say, okay, here you go. I've got it. We got the help wanted ad. Let's get it out there. And yeah, like Michael said, it sounds just like every other ad out there. There's no uniqueness to it, no nothing. And then it's like we don't attract the right people, and we scratch our heads going, why? And I loved when I was working as an executive recruiter many moons ago, when people would come in and respond to ads and they would say, your ad spoke to me. And your ad spoke to me. And I would hear that over and over and over and over again. And you want to write ads that speak to your ideal people, to your ideal people who you want to attract into a job with you.
Love it.
Yeah. So to me, it's a lot of similarities between client attraction and staff attraction, because, you want the same thing, even when you're doing your marketing for your clients. You want that ad to really speak to their pain and to pull those parents in. Same thing is true with your help wanted ads. It's no different. You want it to speak to people's pain and just pull them in and say, wow, working here is going to be different. This is what I've been looking for.
So if you were looking for, let's say someone on here said, I need a good preschool teacher, how can I find them? All the stuff that we're talking about was starting with writing a really compelling ad to attract the right teachers. What are some of the things that, and we won't write a whole ad live right now, but what are some of the—
Ooh, we'll have to do that sometime.
What are some of the things that—
I
think that's a great idea, actually, is I'll put it out to our networks and see, maybe someone wants to show the ad that they're using. We could kind of unpack what's good and what needs some work.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a preschool teacher, what would be some of the things that you would want to see in that particular ad? Would you talk about the culture? Would you talk about the energy? Would you talk about the environment, the benefits? Maybe give us some details on what you're thinking.
Yeah. So to me, with the ad, it's not a cut and dry answer. Talk about your culture, talk about this. To me, it's what do you connect with about what you created, about the workplace that you've brought to life for people. So for some people, it might be a matter of asking a question, saying, are you looking for an employer who listens to their staff and values your feedback? Because that's the kind of workplace they are cultivating. So it really depends, what energy do you connect with about what you created? And I'll usually do this on a consulting call, or we're doing, like I said, live programs now, really targeting in on these ads, but it really depends upon what excites you. So I look for that in your voice, and then we create and cultivate the ad based upon those things. So if you're looking at, oh, well, I have a preschool opening, what do I write about? Well, what is it that just turns you on? What is it that turns you on about your preschool program? What is it that it's like, this is better than any other program out there? Because, so I would really be looking at what is it that you love about what you created, and how do you communicate that then in a quick, simple ad. And the cool thing with ads these days, it's not like in the olden days where we're writing one for the newspaper and it has to be 100 words or less, or we get charged $1,000. You could go to Indeed, you could have a video in your profile, which is highly recommended by me, and write that ad. So it just comes from a place of energy within you. And I often get emails or Facebook messages from people saying, Julie, here's my ad. How can I change this? But what do you connect with? And what do you love? And if you don't know what you connect with, go around and ask your staff, why do you love working here? What is it that we should really be letting the world know about why this is such a fantastic place? But where your energy connects is where you're going to connect with others.
Really, really interesting way to look at it. And I know for a fact, so we're looking for, 3 or 4 more people at my company. And as you're talking, I'm thinking through our ads. I'm like, geez, I'm doing it all wrong also. Not 100%, but probably 50%. But I love starting with a question in your ad, as you said.
Yeah.
And instead of, so most of the ads look like, they look like, we're looking for. So we want preschool teacher, here are the qualifications, you must be patient and caring, and okay, great, fine. Here are the benefits.
And I love the line, we offer competitive benefits and wages. Yeah. Well, hallelujah. Somebody does, right? Yeah. It doesn't say a lot. It's just like, everybody, because we're looking at, well, what's your ad say? What's your ad say? What's your ad say? And we're looking to do the same. Nah, do different. Do different and do you. I mean, if you are a center owner who loves to tell jokes, I would be writing that in your ad, in some way, shape, or form, that this is a fun, humorous environment with an owner who's a prankster, and you're going to come to work and we guarantee a laugh a day. Whatever it might be, but you incorporate you into that ad and your culture, or just whatever really, excites you. So if you're looking at your ad for the position that you want to attract, Michael, I mean, what is it that would really excite you about that position?
Well, I think that's a completely different way to look at it, that with everything. And I think that's the key thing that a lot of these centers need to keep in mind that are listening and tuning in and listening to the replay. It's a competitive environment right now. And if you know that there's 20 other centers within 15 minutes of you that are also looking for teachers or looking for staff, and if everyone is doing something similar, because a lot of times to write an ad, they'll go and they'll just look at what another center did, adjust it a little bit. Yep. And I mean, I've seen ads that accidentally have the wrong name of the center because they copied and pasted from it. I'm like, right. Oh, whoops. Right. I love the idea of doing a video. And it's similar to the same methodology of standing out with families to show that your center is in a different league than everyone else. The exact same thing with the team, that if you're not excited about everything that's going on at your center, if you're not able to convey that in your ad, and that's kind of the whole first impression. If someone sees that's their first impression of your center is that particular ad, they're going to keep scrolling again, whether it's on Facebook or Indeed or whatnot. But imagine if the ad it's speaking, the people that read it end up feeling like it's speaking directly to them. And that's why I love that whole piece of asking the question, like, are you looking for a career in childcare where you have FaceTime with the owner for 10 minutes a day, and all those different things that you value and you get excited about. I mean, it's
absolutely
it puts you in a different ballgame.
Yeah. And even with you, so like, if I were advising you, it'd be like, well, you love video, because when you work with your childcare clients, you're always doing video, you're sending them follow-ups with strategies or different ideas or whatever it might be. So I would think video and an ad on video would be such a natural platform for you. And it's one that you already love. So I would be like, yeah, get your message out there in a video, put that on Facebook to attract the right person to you, because that's one of your modes of communication that you love.
So what we've been doing, and it's working quite well, or it's at least starting to show the fruits of the labor, is that I've done a couple things. So the first thing with our ads, because we rewrote them, but not to the level that we're talking about here. But I mean, they're pretty good. But I've buried in every ad something that they have to send us. Mm-hmm. So, for example, like in our ads right now, for one of the job positions, it says, like, one of the things we want is attention to detail. So it says attention to detail, and then it says to move to step 2 in the hiring process, reply to this posting with the keyword fireworks, so that I know that you actually read this. So candidly, that right there, and that's, I mean, I'm in obviously a different industry, but it works in any industry. You can very quickly see who's got one finger on the key to just keep applying, and who's actually serious about potentially working with you. So like, I think we got 95 applicants for one of our positions, but we hire remotely, so they can be anywhere in the US.
Right.
Actually anywhere in the world, but within like the first 2 days. But as I started going through these, like, it was, oh, dear sir, dear Michael, dear No Joke Marketing. I mean, some of them had the specifics, so they at least customized that. But only, I think it was 3 or 4 out of the give or take 100 actually had the keyword. So I had my finger on the delete key and literally instantly eliminated almost 100 people.
That's, and that's a fantastic strategy to do that, because then you're going to see, like, are they attention to detail? Do they follow instructions? So, that's definitely, we teach a multi-layered approach when it comes to hiring, and that would definitely be a layer in there that would be fantastic to include. Love that strategy. Yeah.
Got it. And then, so that was our step one. And if they passed that, which again, most of them did not, step two is what we did was I did a video of the core values. So I did a video talking about the core values. Here's what the values mean to me. Here's what they mean to our company. And what I'd like you to do is reply back that A, you watch this video, but B, give me your notes based on what you learned from this video. And that's kind of another layer. So we've been doing that before anyone even talks to us.
Yeah.
Just to really kind of start to focus on the cream of the crop, so to speak. So
yeah, and we really have to also get into a different mindset when it comes to our ads and to hiring, because a lot of times it's so urgent that we have somebody in place right away. But we have to really take a deep breath and let them go through a process that we create so that we can really think, are they going to be a really good team member or not? So what you have in place is absolutely showing you like, well, will this person be good for our team, or will they be somebody else who's not going to be that great?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, so I think that's fantastic, but we have to really slow it down, take a breath. And also, as much as you can, get out of the urgency. And you're like, well, yeah, but we never know if somebody's going to quit. We never know if, 3 people are going to go out to lunch together and not come back. And it's happened, right? And I understand that, but that's why a big key and a secret to your success with hiring and finding the right people is start right now and build relationships. Think about yourself as an octopus, and you're wrapping your arms around the entire childcare community in your area. Get to know people who are working as teachers, as directors, whoever it might be, but wrap your arms around them so that when you have an opening, you could say, hey, so-and-so, I was thinking about you. I really like you. And we have a job that's opening up, and I wonder if you might be interested in applying for it.
Hannah, I think that's a really great thing to keep in mind, is that whenever possible, you want to try and build a bench, this virtual bench or this. And one of the things that has worked really well for us is that I call them the A player bench. So anytime, and it doesn't matter where they work, where I found them, I keep a list of people that I think could be really interesting to work with us, whether it was a waitress or a waiter, someone at a different age, doesn't matter. So then I'll take some notes down of this person was phenomenal with XYZ. And then I connect with them on LinkedIn, and then I try and make a point to I'd say once a quarter, but I probably don't execute it as well as I should, but 2 or 3 times a year, just kind of send a message looking at their LinkedIn profile. Hey, I see that you're up to this or doing this. And if we have an opening, I'll mention it. And if we don't, it really is just to kind of continue nurturing that relationship. I mean, I've had people that worked for me at my other agency that we've rehired, that just because I stayed connected for 7, 8, 9 years, for example, just to kind of keep nurturing that relationship. You'll never know where you're going to meet people, and that makes it a lot easier, as you said, so you don't have to be hiring with a sense of urgency, because that, at least for me, I know is when I've made insane hiring mistakes, because your mind, it's the exact same concept with enrollments, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So if you know that you need 5 enrollments, let's just say you need 5 enrollments so that you can pay the bills this month. Unfortunately, what's going to end up happening, if you have that scarcity mindset, and really what I like to call, you've got the attachment to the outcome. So it's the same thing with the team. If you're like, oh my, if I don't have this person, as you said, tomorrow we're out of compliance and we could get in big trouble. If you're attached to that particular outcome, you're not going to make great decisions. And that's when I'm like, hey, I need to hire another account manager because ours is leaving in a week, and you skip some of your processes. You don't allow enough time to kind of marinate. You skip checking references to realize that they didn't even work at one of these places or have any of the training that you thought. So you've got to always be recruiting and looking for those good people.
Absolutely. And if you get yourself into an energy, and the energy that we talk to our clients about is really getting in the frame of mind that says, I always attract amazing people. And if you keep your mindset and your thoughts focused on this, you're going to be surprised at the people that start showing up in your life. And it doesn't mean that you could just sit there in your office in a corner and think, I always attract amazing people. I always attract amazing people. But that is a foundational thought that you carry with you, and it's the underlying tone in the action that you take. And when you do that, I mean, I've had people come up to me there. I've had bankers who say, if you're ever hiring, let me know. I'd love to. And why did they say that? It's just because whatever they want to be around my energy, whatever it is that I'm doing in the moment. It's like, I'm just going to the bank to deposit a check, and it's like, oh, and I'd love to work for you. I've had people from colleges and childcare college programs who are professors who say, I love what you're doing with this. If you ever need some help, just kind of let me know on the side, and I'd love to be a part of your team. So, we have people who come out of the woodwork just to say, I'd really like to, be involved with what you're doing. So, and you can make that dynamic happen for you too, to where eventually, instead of you looking and seeking people, it's going to be like, well, wow, we're attracting all these fantastic people. Now let's weed them out to really discover who are going to be the best candidates for what we're looking for.
It kind of brings me to an interesting question, and I'd be curious to hear your answer and your take on this. So if you're following along with the strategy that Jill and I are talking about, it's keeping a virtual bench, but just keeping that positive energy out there and just showing you and your center so that you're attracting this to you. What are your thoughts around kind of the owner of these centers leveraging kind of their personal Facebook pages, it's personal LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is largely for business, obviously. Yeah. But what do you think in terms of how to continue to kind of radiate that good energy and all the things that the center is up to, or would you suggest that the owner is kind of doing that from the platform of their center?
Yeah, I think it needs to be done from the platform of your center and your personal page too. And I really think, if you look at what you're posting on your personal page, if you're just posting pictures of cats, 100 pictures of cats, you could be using that commodity for something more valuable that will enhance your life and enhance your business. But we've got to be a little bit bold, because sometimes it's like, oh, and I know I go through this too. I'm like, all my high school friends are following me on Facebook. Do I really want them to see this and see what I'm up to, or be doing live videos? But if you're not putting it out there to the world, people can't help you. And people want to help you. Do you ever notice that, how much you love to help other people? People want to help you too. So if you're not letting your friends and family know about what you need in this fantastic, energetic way, we're really shortchanging them of the opportunity to help us and to really bring our vision to life. People want to be a part of something big. So if you start playing big and showing your Facebook world how you're big and how it's amazing and you're changing lives of the children, the vision is growing, the vision is enhancing, people are going to start being like, oh, how can I be part of that vision? How can I help you out? What do you need from me? So it's, again, you could attract a whole community of followers by what you put out there. So look at what you're posting on your personal page on Facebook and ask yourself, is there a better use of your time than what you're currently putting out there? And I used to have the feeling like, this is just for me personally, and this is my friends and my family. But then I'm like, you know what? I could connect with them on Friday night if I want to, right? I really want to use Facebook as my platform to represent my vision and what I want. And there's a blending on my personal page of personal and business, but I will talk about the vision, about what we're doing, about bringing it to life. And I encourage you to do the same.
Oh, and the thing to keep in mind is that if someone is looking for a job and looking to potentially join your center, they're going to, if they're really serious, they're going to do some digging. And the people that are most prepared, they're going to look up your Facebook page or your LinkedIn page, and they're going to have some questions ready. And think about, if you put yourself in their shoes, and I don't want to go down any kind of roads with politics or anything like that, but if you're posting a ton of political stuff on your page and someone goes to that and they're not anywhere in alignment, and not whatever side of the fence you fall on, but just think about that stuff that's out there, that it very well could be hurting your center and your business. And then from a staffing standpoint, I can tell you that numerous times the people that are most serious about working with us, they'll do their research, and I'm very conscious of what I'm posting. And on the opposite side, as what you kind of were talking about, people want to naturally help. So if you're continuing to engage with your Facebook audience, someone's going to know someone. It's that whole, what is it, 3 degrees of separation or 6 degrees of separation, or like we're all six degrees apart or something like that. And
It's so true.
yeah, so like if you're putting that out there on, hey, I'm looking for a rock star person that wants to be able to interact with us and great culture, and you're putting that out there on your Facebook page, and you've done a good job at just kind of engaging with personal and professional stuff, you're going to start to get those inbound referrals as well from other people that you probably wouldn't even thought of, like, oh, my daughter, my niece, my son-in-law. I mean, it's just people, as you said, they want to help. And if you're not asking the universe, and if you're not putting that stuff out there, and that's why I'm so big on putting together what I call this painted picture / vivid vision, too many V's, putting that out there so that other people can see it. And there's some stuff in there that I guess I could call proprietary, but we made the decision that the only way that people were able to kind of see it and then help us move the needle is if we started to put it out there. And then it was interesting because then all of a sudden, like one of the things in there was that I wanted to speak to an audience of thousands. And then all of a sudden someone's reading this, like, oh, I'm connected to XYZ speaker bureau, and they're looking for speakers for like it just starts to kind of go round and round in a good way.
That's awesome. That's such a good story about, how we want to really watch what we put out there. But the biggest post that kind of irk me, when I see them on Facebook, are posts, and I know it's real life, right? It's real life. Things happen, stuff happens, whatever it might be. But it's when we complain, or when we talk about, oh, I can't believe this person cut me off in traffic, or look at the way this person is parked, or what do they think about this? People are attracted to other people who they think can enhance their energy, who can expand their lives, expand their vision. So if somebody were to go on your personal Facebook page and they see that it's blaming, it's finding fault, it's sadness, whatever it might be, they're going to be like, well, maybe you're a nice person, but I know my life's not going to be enhanced by being involved with your vision. So that's the biggest thing. And it's easy to do. It's easy to talk about whose life changed today, who started walking in your program, who spoke their first word. And you don't even have to say names. But man, you tell these stories that give evidence that your vision is coming to life every single day, and you'll be attracting a community of followers once you get into that energetic zone. But if you're in the energy of, yeah, I can't believe this happened again, and oh, once you know, now I don't have any staff, and how's my childcare program going to stay open? We still might get some people, but it might be for the wrong reasons. But there's a whole better way to go about it.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it's just when I was interviewing someone about an hour or so ago, and I know that just from looking at their background, their salary that they probably were previously making is nowhere close to what I would be offering.
Yeah.
But she did her homework and her research, and she was like, I know that you won't be able to hit the salary that I was making, and I'm in a stage in my life where I'm more concerned or more interested in just being a part of kind of a family culture and atmosphere and being able to kind of have that environment. So it doesn't always come down to the money piece. And I think that's where a lot of centers, they start to get nervous that, well, if there's a big brand and their tuition is $400 a month higher, so they know that some of their teachers are making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, and you're starting your teachers at $25,000. How can I ever compete with that? Well, it's as Julie was talking about on the episode today. I mean, it really is making sure that what makes you unique and the culture and what they're gonna kind of get out of the relationship. And I always try and phrase things that way of, regardless of if you're here for a day, a week, a year, 10 years, you're going to leave a more well-rounded and more versed, I say executive, but I mean, you could say more well-rounded individual, for example, just due to the things that you're going to be exposed to. And there's always just fun and unique things that you're typically doing that you don't publicize, or you just don't think to mention. Maybe every once a month you're doing Mo's Monday, where you're, getting Mo's for your staff, and you sit down and just kind of share some laughs, or you talk about some of the TV shows or something like that. Those kinds of little things make all the difference, because it's what makes you unique. It's what makes your center unique from a staff standpoint. And that $10 a month Mo's meal honestly could make or break something if they're looking at a completely different center, that it shows the vibe and the atmosphere and kind of what they can expect in working with you. So
absolutely. And even think about if you do a daily dance party, some people are, some centers are doing daily dance breaks or whatever it might be. Capture that for a few minutes every single day. And even if you don't use children, use the teacher, or use back of heads or whatever it might be. Use yourself, show yourself dancing with just the back of their heads, and you're dancing there, and just go, oh, having the dance party and getting down with it. And I'm so excited about it and just wanted to show you a few minutes. People love, think about the videos that go viral, some of these silly dancing ones. There was one I saw on TikTok yesterday. Somebody shared this lady was lifting weights, and then she rolls her eyes and she throws the weights down to the ground, and Rockin' Robin is on the song. And then she just starts busting out her dance moves, and it's like millions of views, so bring yourself into it. And if you love dancing, use that. Use what Michael was talking about, and, just really let you shine, because they're not going to get you anywhere else. But if you're hiding, they won't know what they're missing.
And if you look at, just, I guess, to play devil's advocate of the centers that maybe they're not as, dare I say, fun, there's still going to be something that makes you unique. And so, if you've got a Montessori curriculum, and I know there's a lot of either doctors or PhDs that own childcare centers. And not that they're not fun, but they might be a little bit more serious and a little bit more maybe focused, but there's still going to be some unique things. Anyway, you look at it. So maybe you've got a library of 100 books in your office, and people are able to take them and borrow books, so that they're not just expanding their knowledge at your center, but they're books on personal and professional development, for example. Just any of those little fun things will help you stand out, and also just attract the right people. Because if you value, so one of our 6 core values is a commitment to lifelong learning. That one of the questions I ask in interviews, tell me about your top 3 favorite books. And if they can't rattle off a couple of books, for me, it's a complete deal breaker, right? And they have to be related to the subject matter. So I want to see that they're doing something to expand their knowledge. With us, it's marketing. Yeah. So when I say top 3 books, I'd say, tell me your top 3 books on marketing. And if they say, well, I read a lot of, fiction. Okay, that's fine, but show me what you're doing to sharpen your axe on a regular basis.
That's good. I love that. I love that, because it's just connecting you with them. And, some questions like that are the things that are like, oh, I didn't know this would be asked of me, and that's one thing I, will say about the job interview. Your goal during the job interview is to really derail people's thinking, so that you're going to be asking them questions that they haven't thought about, or would think like, why is this person asking me this? But that's the way that you're going to get them in their natural state, just to respond to you in an authentic way, is to really derail what their thoughts are and go, oh, interesting question. So I love that one about your 3 favorite marketing books, and you could use that in any type of book.
Definitely.
Yeah. But you think about too, think about if you have an organic garden, think about the food that you serve the children, think about whatever it might be that happens at your center that's pretty cool, and it's just yours. Those are all things to go on Facebook, rave about, let future employees see the things that you're doing. Because we want to show them that not only might the grass be greener on the other side, we want to show that this is the perfect patch of grass for you. This is the perfect place to come and hang out.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I know we've got a little bit of time left. What I would love to do is to have maybe you and I on any topic that you'd like. Could be hiring, staffing, but maybe you and I to kind of share kind of case studies / kind of real life stories, so to speak.
Okay.
You're coaching childcare centers each and every single day, and I'm doing the same in terms of my team and I kind of getting in the ground of their marketing, but would love to hear, and you could share any topic that you'd like. But I know a lot of people just like to hear. To me, it's still, I mean, challenging times. I mean, I definitely continue to think the grass is greener on the other side, and we make some good strides forward and some back, and it really varies based on where you're living. But I've always found, at least for me, I love to hear kind of how another center is succeeding in XYZ. So I'm happy to share one. I'd love you to share one as well, but on any topic that you'd like. I mean, I know, again, you work with people on all different kinds of topics, but and I know I'm putting you on the spot because we didn't prepare for this, but we tend to be better ad-lib anyway. So
we do, don't we? We kind of like that. And if you're tuning in, feel free to say hello to us. I know Michael's monitoring comments, and we're going to be here every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So make sure that you put on your calendar. And if you like the show, you're getting some value out of it, please like, please love, please share it out, because we'd love to help as many people as we possibly can. And like I said, I think there's golden strategies that we've shared in each and every show. And Michael has such an amazing approach to working with his clients with marketing and getting those enrollments filled. And I have a whole other approach too. We focus heavily on the staff side. So when it comes to your question or a real life case scenario, one that comes to mind is people, if I could use this as a generality, we get a lot of calls from people who are stuck. Not sure what to do, not sure how to proceed, if they can proceed, whatever it might be. So we get a lot of people who are stuck. And when it comes to being stuck, it always comes to shifting mindsets first. So, and I talked about this a little bit in the show when we first started, but we did have a couple clients this week, or what do I do when? And one of them was relating to staff. And another one was relating to a building situation. They didn't know if their lease was going to be renewed, that sort of thing, without getting into too much of the specifics. But if we look at the staff situation, let's say we have staff members who, regardless of how many times you've talked to them about something, they don't change their behaviors. And you feel like you've done everything possible to talk to them. And what I'll recommend are some strategies that you can use to help you really come out on top, regardless if it's a landlord you're dealing with or a staff member that you're dealing with. Does that sound like a good case scenario?
Love it. Yeah, definitely. Please.
Good. So what you want to do, first of all, in that situation, and this is what we first started off talking about on today's show, is ask yourself the question, what do I really want to have happen? So if you're dealing with a staff member who you've talked to over and over and over again about different behaviors, there's still no changes, I want you to ask yourself, what do I really want to have happen? And I want you to think about a vision and write it down. So I want staff members who are going to listen to me. I want staff members who are going to be on board with excitement to do every little thing that's going to contribute to the vision coming to life. So you'll go through and just write out things like that that are directly correlated with your desires. And once you do that, then what I want you to do is to think about, and this is what we did, we coached people this week on these specific things, is identifying, number one, what we want. What do we want to transpire in that situation? Then number two, what are 3 action steps that you can take that's in alignment with that vision? And how quickly can you take that action? So when we have clients who they either box me or they get on the phone with me and they go, okay, this is the situation, here's what I want. Great, fantastic. Now tell me 3 action steps that you can take right now in alignment with that thing that you want. Because those 3 action steps are kind of be the gateway to really helping you step into a whole new level of success. When we tolerate, and we tolerate more, and then tolerate more on top of that in terms of our own mindset or the behaviors that we're accepting from other people, then we get into this real stuck place and we feel disempowered, we feel out of control. So what we want to do is put you back in the driver's seat as soon as possible, put you back into control, and identify those 3 action steps that are really going to be in alignment with that thing that you want, and then push it to that place. So if we're looking at staff not doing the things that we want, and there may be some tweaking that we need to do with that process, but it might be like, oh, I really want to find somebody who's going to be excited. Okay, great. Then we go to the help wanted ads. We rewrite a help wanted ad and we get really excited about it and we put it out there. So we identify those 3 things that are really going to change your state of mind immediately. And we take action fast.
Love it.
So we had 2 or 3 owners who were going through different scenarios like that, where I coached them on those exact things.
That's great. No, I think that's a perfect case study for everyone listening to see that there's always going to be something that is going to come up or potentially get you unstuck, or get you stuck, but you can always get yourself out of these situations.
Well, and I think strategy is important, right? So everybody's looking for, well, what's that magic thing that I need to do? But you got to make sure that your mindset is in the right place. So if our mindset is out of alignment with our vision and what it is that we really want, we're going to be shooting in the dark, and might as well just take a bunch of strategies, put them on a little spin wheel or a dartboard and throw a dart. Oh, while you're at it, make sure while you're throwing that dart at that dartboard, the room is dark and you're blindfolded and you're facing the opposite direction. Because that's what it's going to be like when it comes to getting the results. Is you're just going to be like kind of like shooting, hoping it lands on something that might serve you in some way. But when you get your energy back to, what is it that I want? And, oh, this is the dreamy place. And yeah, I'm jazzed up about this. Then we look at the strategy. That's when magic happens.
No, that was great. What a great story. I love it.
Yeah. Can't wait to hear what you have to share.
So I'll share a brief one, and then we'll wrap for this afternoon. So
we're already almost over, everyone.
Always flying already. Ours was, we've been doing a lot of reactivation campaigns lately. And I look at, so we're working with the center in Georgia who just decided to reopen. So they closed. So it's been, they were closed, all of April, May, June. So they're reopening next week. Nice. And they had 75, 80 enrollments before COVID. And so they really haven't had much cash flow the last couple of months. And the worry has been with a lot of centers, how many of these are going to come back? Are they just is everyone going to come back, or some going to come back? And we did 2 different things. So the first thing that we did was a couple of weeks ago, we kind of started priming, because they kind of took a break and didn't really communicate like we were advising them to over the last couple of months to the families and their staff. So we're kind of having to backpedal a little bit. But rather than just sending out an email saying, hey, can you tell us if you're coming back starting July and all of that stuff, we started to put together kind of this virtual kind of online childcare and said, hey, we wanted to do this. We're going to be reopening in the next couple of weeks. It may get extended a little bit, but we wanted to at least give you some value. So that was the first thing that we did. And they had not 100% participation, but pretty darn close to it. 85, 90% of the families started going on and engaging. And the second thing that we did was we wanted to kind of then formally not only reactivate those families, but also reactivate all the leads they've gotten over the last couple of months. So we kind of designed all the languaging, and we put this into 3 different campaigns. So a text message campaign, a voice broadcast. So this allows you, it's called ringless voicemail. So I had the owner record a couple of different voicemails, and we broke them into different lists of, were they looking for the infant room, the pre-K room, toddler room? What were the rooms they were looking for? So the voicemail at least sounded a little bit custom. Yeah. And then finally, we matched an email with that. So all the leads ended up getting an email, a text message, and a voice broadcast. So all of the leads, and then also all of the existing enrollments. And they already were able to reactivate 17 leads. So they got deposits from 17. So they are going to have 17 new enrollments from leads that they thought were just dead. Like they were going to start, not from scratch, but they were going to just kind of start over the lead gen process. Mm-hmm. And they've already gotten, I think it's 63, 64 of the current enrollments to kind of give them a confirmed yes, when they thought they might have had 30 or 40. So it just, people are busy. Yep. And they want to hear from you. And it's not that they're ignoring you or anything like that. Everyone's going through difficult times right now across the entire globe. It's not that everyone is in the perfect spot, but when you kind of massage them a little bit with some different languaging and hit them up in a few different modes of communication, you can start to see some really cool things happen. So we've been doing a lot of those campaigns and are really seeing some pretty cool results.
I love that. I love the campaign. I love, especially the personal voicemail that go right to their cell phones. I think that's a really fantastic strategy.
Definitely.
Yeah, just to hear your voice and connecting with them.
Definitely.
Wonderful.
So,
I love it.
so I hope that everyone kind of enjoyed this new time. I know we had a lot more people that were on live. I was kind of keeping an eye on the numbers. Would love to see everyone back here next week. So we're going to keep the Wednesday time at 1 Central, 2 o'clock Eastern. And in the meantime, again, share this, like it, comment, ask questions. We are here to help you as much as we can.
Absolutely.
So as always, Julie, I'll let you leave us with a quote.
Quote.
So if anyone needs any help, you can check out Julie at childcarebusinesssuccess.com. And all of her fun gear is at happychildcareteam.com. So make sure you check those out.
Yes. Thank you.
My URL is local childcare marketing. So if we can help you in any way as well.
Perfect. All right. So the quote I have comes from, let's see, this is chapter 8 in our book. And this is from Paul Ryan. It says, every successful individual knows that his or her achievement, ooh, this is good, depends on a community of persons working together. So how can you create a bigger community to really support your vision and your childcare business success?
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will talk to you next week.
We'll see you next Wednesday, 1 o'clock.
See ya.
Bye.